मेरी उन तमाम दोस्तों से गुजारिश है कि जिन्होंने अभी तक हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है वो चैनल को ज़रूर सब्सक्राइब करें ताकि आने वाली तमाम वीडियोस आप तक पहुंच सके। थैंक यू।
A common refrain of donors is that Pakistan needs to raise its tax to GDP ratio substantially to achieve macroeconomic stability on a sustainable basis. Full stop. It has earlier been argued in these columns that the deterioration of the fiscal health of the state has resulted more on account of government expenditures gone wild. Full stop. Our experience suggests that as the revenue pie grows, additional resources are likely to be utilized to establish more non-productive agencies, with overlapping mandates, to finance grandiose, wasteful projects ill-suited to the country's needs, giving hefty increases in salaries and perks to state employees and to keep feeding inefficient, overstaffed SOEs. Full stop. New para. The losses of these SOEs have accumulated to rupees 2.5 trillion, equivalent to $8.8 billion. Full stop. Take the case of just one such institution, PIA. Full stop. Its accumulated losses have crossed rupees 600 billion, growing at an average rate of rupees 150 billion per annum, with outstanding debt and liabilities of more than rupees 350 billion, even after having received several bailout packages from the government. Full stop. The financial burden of these resource guzzlers, apart from hemorrhaging government budgets, has also become a source of systemic risk for the financial sector. Full stop. But successive governments, despite being cash strapped, have happily bankrolled these SOEs, all from borrowed money, while smarting at the stringent conditionalities of a $3 billion IMF program. Full stop. New para. Going forward, no easy money will be available to continue financing their losses. Full stop. In fact, most of these SOEs would need to be wound up because they can neither be repaired, nor restructured, nor privatized as going concerns. Full stop. This article argues for privatization, not on some theoretical or ideological principles, but on the basis of irrefutable evidence to support its adoption as a key element of our policy and structural reform. Full stop. Privatization or the winding up options are, understandably, challenged by the employees of these entities and politicians who have been major contributors to their bloated structures. Full stop. Unfortunately for them, there is overwhelming information on the positive outcomes following privatization, or the opening up of economic sectors such as banking, telecom, etc., that were hitherto closed to private entities, full stop. Until the privatization of banks began in the early 1990s, there were concerns about the fate of depositors of public sector banks and the soundness and stability of the banking system, full stop. It would be difficult to contest the improvement in quality of services and products, the outreach to those outside the banking system, and increased employment opportunities provided by the banking industry after privatization, apart from contributing to the expansion of the GDP, tax revenues, and overall public welfare, full stop. From an after tax loss of rupees 9.77 billion in 2001, when they were owned by the government, these privatized banks earnings rose to a profit after tax of rupees 73.115 billion in 2007, full stop. Higher earnings led to increased tax payment by banks to the government, rising from rupees 10.8 billion in 2001 to rupees 33.8 billion in 2007, full stop. It is also instructive that in 2008 and 2009, the average loan write-off per borrower in public sector banks was over twice that per borrower in the case of private banks, full stop. Next, take the case of the telecom sector, full stop. Surely, no one believes that had PTCL continued to have a monopoly, we would be able to enjoy such a variety of choice and quality of services and products at alluring, competitive rates, question mark. Also, hasn't PTCL's service improved since it was privatized, question mark. Bribes are no longer needed for new connections and getting your landline fixed. It is a seamless with little if any human contact, full stop. It wasn't that long ago that we had to suffer all this, full stop. New para, could PTV ever have provided programs of such variety and quality as well as raised public knowledge and awareness of a range of constitutional, political, economic and social issues in a society with an abysmal literacy rate, question mark. Moreover, and more importantly, the presence and growth of the private sector is the best, if not the sole, grantor of recruitment on merit, full stop. Isn't it a pleasure to come across bright young men and women, with hardly any connections, producing and anchoring widely watched programs on TV channels and holding middle and senior management positions in leading private companies, question mark. This fact alone, that in an economy dominated by the private sector, the young would find jobs on the basis of the talent with which they are born bracket start, or the skill that they have acquired, bracket close, rather than the family in which they are born, is justification enough to privatize every entity in the public sector which does not hold a monopolistic position, full stop. New para, successive regimes have overstretched the mandate of the Pakistani state, burning huge holes in its budget, full stop. This has resulted in its inability to perform, efficiently and effectively, what should be its core functions, security of life and property of its citizenry, and provide justice and some basic social services, responsibilities that it must both pay for and provide, full stop. Therefore, by outsourcing the management or by privatizing these enterprises, scarce resources, both financial and human, will be released to enable the state to focus on these core functions, full stop. In conclusion, the vociferous opposition to privatization by bureaucrats and politicians is amusing, because when it comes to their private lives, all of them are the proud owners of more than one cell phone. They have private bank accounts, watch channels other than PTV, are likely to have studied in private schools and are sending their children to the same institutions, full stop. New para, this private behavior is rational, since these choices are being made on the basis of service quality, full stop, but they resist privatization because there would be reduced opportunities for patronage, bracket start, an appropriate all-embracing term in our context, bracket close, or earnings as fees or junket trips as directors of these publicly owned entities, full stop. All that is required for the benefits to accrue from the proposed privatization of such institutions is a competitive operational environment, without support through subsidies or heavy protection, full stop.